Alright guys, Jeffree Star has really gone way too far this time, which we're going to be getting into in today's video. Nonetheless, let's drop 5,000 likes for YouTube's fastest news network, and if you haven't followed me already on Instagram and Twitter, it's in the description. And the fact of the matter is, guys, if you're not subscribed with that bell rung, then you are not up to date. Now let's jump right into it. Alright guys, now Jeffree Star is a massive YouTuber with over 20 million subscribers, has a multi-million-dollar, I believe it's worth over $200 million at this point, beauty brand. He makes makeup and different cosmetics. He's incredibly, wildly successful, and he got his start on MySpace doing electropop in the late 2000s. His wild success led to many tours and shows being performed in lots of different places and states, and unfortunately he took advantage of everyone, it seems, every single step of the way. Now, I did enjoy his music in the past, and I thought the way he dressed was very flashy and somewhat entertaining. However, by the time I get to the end of this video, chances are you will have unsubscribed and not support this guy at all, even in the slightest, moving forward. Unfortunately, at this point, I don't believe he deserves any sort of fame or financial support. Here's what happened. In 2009, he came across a guy named Arthur, aka Gage, as his stage name. He had gauged ears, I believe that's why he went by the name. He was an up-and-coming performer that just wanted to make it, just like a lot of people. He had met Jeffree on tour and told him that he wanted to make it. And unfortunately, this is how a lot of sad stories begin in this industry. He noticed that Jeffree was going about grabbing people down below without their approval and without their permission. He did this to lots and lots of people. There's many accounts of this. It's awful. It goes through their head. They ask themselves if it's okay. Oftentimes they joke about it or try to brush it under the rug so they can just move on and move forward, not trying to make a big deal out of it. But guess what? It is a very big deal. Nobody ever deserves to be touched without their permission. He did this time after time after time, and even worse than this, he used a stunning device on people to scare them and intimidate them into allowing him to touch them in that way, which is absolutely unacceptable. Back to Arthur, back to Gage. Gage lost touch with Jeffree for a while. He ended up moving to Los Angeles, where he was actually homeless for a while. He just didn't have any money. He then got in contact with Jeffree for help, knowing that Jeffree also lived in Los Angeles. And Jeffree took advantage and told him, hey, you know what? Come over. Come stay at my apartment. I know you're on the streets. You can stay in my bed. Now, normally if I was offered a bed, I would deny it in that sort of situation. If someone was going to join me in the bed, whom I would feel uncomfortable with, of course. However, if you're on the streets, you're desperate for food, warmth, a shower. People do some crazy things sometimes out of desperation. So he accepted his offer and he stayed with him. Now, that evening, as Jeffree tweeted out, chronologically detailing the evening, he said they started out in a movie theater. In that movie theater, Jeffree went to the movies with not only Gage, but also another friend, whom actually recants the situation in the exact same way that Gage Arthur does. He says that Jeffree made advances towards him, which Arthur denied. But that wasn't enough for Jeffree. Jeffree got very upset. He couldn't use his stunning device in the theater, so he stormed out. He left. He left the theater and allowed Arthur and his friend to finish up the movie. While Jeffree was outside of the theater, he became angrier and angrier, plotting a plan to do to them in the park, to do to Arthur in the parking lot, which is just absolutely unacceptable and has led me to believe that Jeffree doesn't deserve a single view or cent from any fan of his or person of his in the future. And you let me know down below if you are now putting your foot down and finally deciding that it's over, it's done. And I'm going to put the article in the top pinned comment, which also details even more awful details of the way he treated people. So he waits for them in the parking lot. When Arthur and the other friend go to the parking lot, that's when Jeffree takes his stunning device and chases Arthur around the entire parking lot and around the car in which they got there in. Sorry for the sunlight, guys. Trying to avoid it. The sun's going down. Arthur is intimidated, right? He's very upset by the situation, but once again feels like he has nowhere else to go, nowhere else to lay his head and sleep and rest that evening. When he goes back, that's when Jeffree gives Arthur drinks, and in the drinks, unfortunately, is medicine that makes him go to sleep. Certain kinds of things do that to people, and they should never be used against people. It made Arthur go to sleep, kind of halfway, kind of to where he didn't feel like he had control of himself. He then woke up to seeing Jeffree down below him. I don't even really want to say it, but performing a BJ, yeah, and which is just awful and horrible for him to go through, for anyone to go through. Arthur lived with this for a long time and finally went to the Insider magazine, an outlet, on this story, and many other men did. And guess what? When Jeffree got word of this, what did he do? He texted them. He texted Arthur, he texted the other people, and he said, hey, listen, I'll give you $10,000 if you contact Insider and you let them know and you were confused, this never happened, and you want these stories gone. Arthur contacted them, and he told them he wasn't sure what happened. He's not sure on the situation. He wants the stories gone. Insider was luckily able to find out that Arthur was offered $10,000, and so was many other people who spoke up in this situation. Absolutely pathetic. Jeffree should own up. He should apologize. He should prove to the world that he's changed. Unfortunately, after doing those sorts of things, I can't forgive someone. I believe they would do that sort of thing again. I don't believe they've changed. I don't believe Jeffree has changed. I've seen the way Jeffree acts and his stardom, and I don't believe that he's changed as a person. I believe everyone deserves a second chance and can change for the better. However, seeing Jeffree's behavior, I don't believe that he's changed. Guys, let me know your thoughts below. I'm so sorry to report such a sad story to you today. I did feel the need to. Nonetheless, let's drop 5,000 likes on YouTube's fastest news network. If you haven't followed me already on Instagram and Twitter, it's in the description. And the fact of the matter is, guys, if you're not subscribed with that bell rung, then you are not up to date. And I will keep you up to date on the Jeffree drama. Thank you so much for watching.